Financial independence on a low income can be challenging, but it is possible. Here are 5 things to help you on your journey to financial independence while using a low income. Now, for reference, I was an English major in college, and I pretty much thought that I would always be living the low income life, and that financial independence was just too far beyond my potential. I didn't think that I would be capable of financial independence, so I didn't really pay much attention to my finances or my money, let alone achieving financial independence. I didn't grow up with any sort of advanced financial education in my household. We were not a wealthy family. In fact, we were the opposite of a wealthy family. I had a very good financial foundation, but almost no financial education. However, one day I just woke up and decided that I was going to become good with money. This was a decision that I made. However, at the time that I made this decision, I was also $17,000 in consumer loan debt. So I was in the red for $17,000 when I woke up and decided that I was sick of being in the red and I was going to become good with money. And once I made that decision, I went on a mission to learn absolutely as much as I could about financial independence. I also managed to dig myself out of that hole of consumer loan debt, and I got rid of that $17,000 in consumer loan debt in about 2 years, making roughly $30,000 a year. I share that to say that it is possible. Over the last 2 years, my net worth has doubled from $7,000 to $14,000. And while that's still not a huge number, it's a lot better than I was doing before, and I'm also moving in the right direction. So here are 5 things to achieve financial independence on a low income. Thing number 1, pay attention and know your numbers. So that means you should know 4 numbers at any given time: your income, your monthly expenses, your assets, and your liabilities and your debt. So those are the 4 key numbers to know. Now, when I was at $17,000 in consumer loan debt, I felt discouraged and disinterested, and I felt a tremendous sense of shame, and it just made me not want to pay attention to anything. When my expenses were higher than my income, I didn't want to pay attention anymore. So the numbers weren't looking good, so I didn't want to watch the numbers because every time I looked at them, they made me feel discouraged. So the way I got over that was by just tracking the numbers without judgment. So that was a huge mindset shift for me, and on the path to financial independence, there's no room for emotional attachment. So just see the numbers for what they are, just numbers, and remove any attachment or emotion surrounding them, and just allow yourself to track those numbers without any sort of attachment. It might be very difficult at first, especially if, again, your expenses are higher than your income, but this is the first step. So once more, I talk about this a lot, but I track every single dollar I spend because it gives me a tremendous sense of peace and clarity. So I allow tracking the numbers and knowing exactly where I stand to give me a sense of positive momentum and encouragement, and that in turn lets me know that I can affect those numbers. So you have to know where you are in order to make any sort of difference or change. Thing number 2 is to know and manage your expenses and to plan for them to be as low as possible. So this is a big item, especially in the financial independence, retire early community. Keeping your expenses low is pretty much the hallmark of the FIRE movement. So again, with your tracking, if you're looking at your expenses, you will get a better idea of what you spend on a monthly basis and what your recurring expenses are, and then start to think of ways that you can lower those expenses. For me, there's a certain standard that I try to maintain that balances both being frugal and thrifty with a little bit of enjoyment in life. And that number is going to be different for everyone. And don't let anyone shame you on your expenses or your expense number. You pick that number that works for you and balance both enjoying the moment and being thrifty and frugal with your ultimate financial independence goals. Time is finite and you can't get back time. So while financial independence is the goal, time is also very precious. Thing number 3, focus on increasing your income, if only a little bit at a time. This is key if you want to make any sort of headway in financial independence on a low income. You got to get your income up, and it can feel like a long, slow, steady climb. But once more, as long as you're moving in the right direction, the important thing is just to keep moving. So for example, I started posting content to this YouTube channel 7 years ago, and I have only recently just been monetized. It took a long time, but I just aimed to stay consistent and upload something every week. And gradually I aim to increase the value of the content that I was uploading every week. That's still my goal. I thank you so much for commenting and liking these videos. It is a huge help to me and the channel. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. So if anything, please let this channel be an example to you that anything is possible as long as you keep moving forward and you are consistent. It is possible to increase your income. Small actions can have big results. Stay consistent and keep planting those seeds. Keep finding ways to increase your income as long as you keep moving in the right direction, and increased income will follow. Tip number 4, investing is key. This is something that I learned only in the past 2 years, and it has made a huge difference and is a big part of the reason why my net worth has doubled. And that's because I started paying attention to my investments and learning everything I could about investing. Once more, I don't come from a financially savvy or wealthy family at all. Everything I know about finance, I learned myself with the help of other people, but I didn't come from this kind of a background, so I had to learn on my own, and that was the biggest gift to me in that learning these basics, just kind of starting from zero. It is possible to overcome the challenges of a low income by learning absolutely everything you can about investing. It's pretty much impossible to achieve financial independence without investments. It is critical that you learn absolutely everything you can. And tip number 5, community is key. It is absolutely critical that you surround yourself with like-minded people who share your goals and your outlook on life. Part of the fun for me of having this channel is learning from all the comments and the feedback that I get, as well as watching other people's videos on financial independence and the process of becoming financially independent. There is a wealth of knowledge available here on YouTube and also around the financial independence community. You can find tips and hints as well as feedback on your strategy. While it might be tough to take at first, the financial independence community is filled with lots of valuable information. Plus, it just makes it more fun to know that there are other people who share your goals and outlook on life. If you know anything about my story, or if you've watched some of my earlier videos, you know that I didn't start out with necessarily a warm, fuzzy feeling toward the financial independence community. I'm speaking in particular about one very popular website. I had maybe not the best experience with this one website, and at the time I had some hurt feelings around what had happened on the website. So now that some time has passed, I've actually seen much more positive come out of that experience than negative, and I'm using that as positive motivation to keep moving forward in my financial independence journey. On the whole, the support and encouragement that I've personally received from the financial independence community has far outweighed any negative consequences or experiences that I may have had. So there you have it. Those are my 5 things to financial independence on a low income. I thank you for watching, and I hope, as always, that you will keep watching. Bye.